Oh gosh, now I've got to find the words. This, so much of this right now, alive in my mind, is about how this is relational. I think that's a really missing piece of philosophy, and I know that it's spoken about as the love of wisdom, but there is a way. Those words, philosophia, I actually think about it as the wisdom of friendship. So philos, it can actually be friends. So it's, to me, it's like the wisdom that emerges through, because to me, this mode that we're describing is like a mode of friendship. I don't know if that, like, this is a mode of being with others. That's what I mean. And that might be friendship with your spouse, and it might be friendship within your broader family, and it might be friendship with a bunch of people in a cafe one day. It's a way to be with other people and to think and speak together, and to relate. That's what it is. And through that, that is our best chance of finding, or the wisdom emerging, or whatever it is. And I think that bit's really, really important, because I do think that philosophy can also be associated with, yeah, like a guy sitting in his room by himself with stacks and stacks of books, who never speaks to anyone ever again in his life. And, I guess he's speaking to the people in the books. But, it's this very solitary, can be a very solitary, and I think some of that gets caught up in the kind of almost narcissistic thing that we're just like, looks narcissistic, that we're describing for people on the outside that think, oh, I don't want anything to do with that term. It's like, I'm so self-important. I've learned about these people in these books, and I'm going to sit here and study them, and you can't, like, it's almost like, I'm describing what people are imagining. I'm not trying to describe what I think it is. Although I'm sure there's people that do this, like there is with everything, right? This idea of just like the person who thinks that they're better than everyone else, and wields it in that way. Look at this information, or this way that I can be that you can't. And what I find so beautiful about these conversations that I have, that I've come to see is actually the essence of philosophy. That's what I think anyway. Is that anyone can take part in them. And by taking part in them, it's like that rising tide thing. I can't think of what the expression is right now, but you bring everyone along with you. So it is actually through, it's a love, and it's a loving act like that. And that's why I think the relationship bit is so key. And I really do see it more as something that's akin to the wisdom of friendship, because it makes, I'm just going to say some simple things. It makes every relationship better, just in the attempt. Just for one person to even take the attempt of stepping into slightly that mode of being in the conversation with the other person, noticing something come up and approach questioning it in that way, as opposed to a different kind of way that we often get stuck in, of more like an interrogation or a quick judgment or a dismissal. Even just in that attempt, even if it's not met well, I really do think that's a better taking care of the potential of that relationship, and therefore the potential of all of us involved. It's a much more caring, loving way of treating others and treating ourselves and treating the potential of relationships. And that doesn't mean it always goes well, and it doesn't mean that even in our attempt to do it, we can do it really badly, and actually it doesn't do, but even having that alive in our mind, that to me, that is kind of the heart of what we're talking about here. And that is very, very different from thinking that it's about learning about all the ways that different conceptions of existence and who we are in the universe, formed and changed over time, and the departing, like that's all. I find that fascinating, because I love stuff like that. It's the same with, theology, and I love to think like, and what year did they break off and why, what was different there, and like I love to map, but that's got nothing to do with the actual activity of philosophy. That's kind of learning the roots of it, which is still important. But I don't think you need to know those things to start taking part in it. You can start taking part in it like now. It's an activity, and it is something that's not to say it can't be done alone. And there is a form of, especially doing the psychology I do, there is a form that can be applied to how we relate to our internal self and all these things. But I think at its essence, it is all about, in order to therefore be with others in a way that allows us to then, even if you're doing that internally, it's then in order to be able to, when you are with others, have more clarity, so that when you meet others and you're doing this kind of thing, It increases the, gosh, what would you call it? The potency of the philosophy that is available. So yeah, that's my contention. It's the wisdom of friendship, and it still works in the Greek. That's what I'm going to say.